So today I'm rocking my straight out of Wits t-shirt. So I thought, it would be a good way and a good discussion to have it in terms of, um, yeah, getting in and making it in South Africa's so-called elite universities. I mean, there's a lot of things that one can talk about, but I think this, for now at least, it I just want to talk about my journey into ultimately having been able to make it into vets. So uh, those who know me know very well that I've had an interesting type of journey, especially in high school, or throughout my schooling life. I've always been that guy who, depending on what I'm working on at the time, my marks were good. So like since in primary, so I would be the guy who you know goes and it tries to bunk class. And I mean, I went to a very rural primary school, and so the toilets were almost in the bushes, and then we would want to hide there, and yeah, not come back to class after a break, and then someone would see us, and then we go to class and get given a test, and I'm that kid who just aces it, and the teacher's just wondering, dude, I mean, if you can, get a 8 out of 8, I think is one memory that I remember. That's a long time ago. Around about 98 or something. Um, then why are you bunking class? So, but I was that kid who, would be with, you just roll with Machita, and then yeah, I think around about my grade four, then the teachers like trying to figure out and decide who would really be the best in math, and gives us different tests, and then I become that kid, so getting like a 100 out of 100 in math in primary was not a big thing. Up until then, I end up in at Mets Olympiad in provincial level in Limpopo in 2003. Coming from a school without electricity. And why am I telling this story? It's then I built up, went to a high school in Middleburg, very good school. I mean, in a colored area, and we were able to do Afrikaans. My Afrikaans started to improve there, and the school was very good at accounting. And when I then went to my alma mater, high school, Dinwiddie High in Germiston, from my grade 9 to 12, I had that sort of foundation, and so yeah, my grade 11, I wasn't really that good because I was trying to, start a school magazine, something like that, and there was that not taking off type of thing, and then grade 12, and I mean, throughout my high schooling in Dinwiddie, I would probably got like one award in grade 10, and then yeah, and then the next time I got awards was in grade 12, because then that was where I was like really saying that I want to make it, and that's where sort of the dream of getting into Wits started to feel closer, and that's where I started to realize that in order for me to really make that dream possible, this is the time, and this is where I needed to be able to do it. But really, I I think it was that mindset shift, that I feel is almost like a start in terms of, how do you get into this, because you would find that I mean, the APSs would be too high, be it that you want to go to Wits, UCT, UP, Stellenbosch, or wherever. The APS becomes a big thing, and during our time, it was better, because I mean, I matriculated 2008. There was this NCS program that had just started, And when we went to um, first year, a lot of us went, but like at the time it was still. I mean, my marks were not that great, but amongst that group, they were part of the ones that were great. Especially to NU and acceptance into Wits. But it I think the big thing was that the ability to meet the APS helped me, and then also the passing of maths and English. I think I got 59 for English and English home language chief. That worked for me because I think Viz converted it to a 60. Then I got like a 60 something for my pure maths, and then that's how I then got accepted into studying what is called an urban and regional planning. Yeah, and we will go through that later on about then what happened in terms of me having not practiced a day as a town planner. But I think that worked. Then also because I lived in a township called Katlehong, so it was almost easier to go to vet. So I think I went there to go and write an Allen Gray bursary tests first, and then I didn't get it because it just probably wasn't that good. And then yeah, when I was there, that's when sort of the dream of starting to go there sort of felt it. So sometimes it's a good thing when kids are advised to go to those open days because it sort of puts it in your mind. I mean, I wrote my Met Olympiad thing at Northern Academy, one of the schools in Polokwane, and I really wanted to go there after my grade 7, but my mom just felt like everyone in the area was going to school in Polokwane, so nah, she said no. That's how I didn't end up there. And then also, yeah, I feel that now that there's enough research, it sort of allows kids to walk one of my friends really knew a lot about Wits, wanted to go to Wits, but couldn't make it, I think, because of marks and things like that. But he was like obsessed with Wits because he had done good research in terms of preparation. So part of the ability to get into these schools is also that your ability to get in, but the passion and the like of it. Because when you see at the time, I remember with us there was the computer science kid had developed some raba game, and I just felt like wow, this is a big thing. But also even the proximity to um, get that exposure to go study abroad, because once I set foot at Wits and I saw posters about people studying abroad, that's when I realized this is something that I would want to do. So I'll make a separate video because I ended up doing and being on an exchange in Latvia when I did my MBA, which is another story I think that we can dwell on. And I also feel that part of what gets you in is people who know someone who has been there. It just say, especially for us who are from township, it just says, because it's about Tabo from next door who went to UCT, therefore it's doable. It's this is the kind of information that this person can be asking me, and it enables one also to almost settle in and survive almost easily in these things. So yeah, it's firstly I think the issue of the marks, because I was able to throughout that journey, and I think knowing that academically I always had that ability to do well, helped me in that it said to me that yeah, dude, you can do this. And then yeah, I was able to in Matric get the marks. I remember it was my first when I came to Dinwiddie in 2005. It was yeah, I always saw a claims of, Matrix not really getting term award. So if you had an average of 60, you used to get a term award at my school. And it became a thing that I felt like, yeah, no, when I'm in Matric, I want to do these. But I mean, I was in grade 9, never got it. Got to grade 10, I think got it once in September for third term, and then never got it in grade 11. But then when I got to Matric, it was a thing of, yeah, now that I'm like really, really, really focused and studying, which is not what I advise people to do, because what that meant is that if I had that potential to get 100 in maths, I couldn't, because my basics and foundation were not that strong. I mean, I remember studying for paper 2 trigonometry, and yeah, I was so sad that I just couldn't get it right. But I had to go back and study grade 11 stuff, and then start understanding that metric stuff. So yeah, it's important to really study that. And then there's also issues of finances. I mean, I applied for land bank bursary, didn't get it. Like a lot of bursaries that I applied for, there was that struggle of me not getting them. But until, yeah, I think it had to be my parents paying for me. And as I went, I got a SAC plan bursary. So throughout my studies, I would just get like, you know, 30 Kenyan are there, and yeah, until I got the European Union bursary, and until I got Tata, I think, paid for part of my MBA fees, and yeah, those kind of things. So it has always just been that going from one funder to another type of thing. But yeah, interesting as well. So it's that I think that the finances. I mean, that's probably a video in itself, in terms of how does one position themselves in terms of getting bus. I mean, I know people who would repeat their metric just so that they are able to get a bursary. But yeah, I mean, that's probably, I would say, how my journey happened, and how I feel, the kind of advice I would give to someone who wants to get into these universities in South Africa, especially the top ranking ones. It's just that, get your marks right, acquaint yourself with how the system works, and yeah, probably even after securing the finance, all will be well. So cheers, see you in the next video.